Welcome back to the Vivid Racing YouTube channel. Today we're diving into the HKS Blow Off Valve. By the end of this video, you will know everything about blow off valves. Today we have Travis here. Travis is one of our performance specialists. He will help us understand and answer all the questions that we get.
I have 3 cars here. I have a Toyota MR2 that is K24A2 swapped. I have another MR2 that is 2ZZ swapped. And then I also have a Mazda Speed 3.
We also have Shane here, and he's gonna help us get to the bottom of it, why this HKS blow off valve is so good. First, I just wanna know what a blow off valve is and how does it work.
So we're gonna start over here at the intake. So the car is going to actually start breathing and sucking into the air into the turbo. It's going to be then charged into the charge pipe and then into the intercooler to be cooled. We want that cold air. Cold air means denser and also more power. Then it's going to come over here into a charge pipe again and then into the throttle body. So once that throttle body plate opens up, all of this is moving much quicker. It's going to go into the intake manifold. Goes into the intake manifold and gets compressed, and we know how a motor actually works, and then it goes through the header and then back into the turbo. So once it goes into the turbo, we're gonna go through the exhaust. But the whole point of this video is for it to be releasing off that throttle so that the blow-off valve makes that wonderful.
If we didn't have the HKS blow off valve, it's gonna trying to come back to the turbo.
Yes, so when you close that, if this didn't exist, all of that air is going to go through that path of least resistance and then go back into the turbo, and you get that shoo-doo-doo-doo sound. And then what that is the propeller actually doing this inside of the turbo. It's not great. It's not healthy for the turbo. It's not healthy for the motor, but people do it for the sound.
Because they think it's cool.
They think it's cool.
So what that blow off valve does is release the compressed air that was trapped in here.
Yes.
And make that even cooler sound.
Yes. The blow-off valve is actually going to detect that air when that throttle body plate actually closes because of that path of least resistance. When the air is actually moving through the throttle body plate and then it closes, so then that air has to go somewhere else. That air is going to go through that HKS blow-off valve. So
it's mechanical and it notices the pressure changes?
Right.
Okay. So we got a lot of question about the HKS blow off valve. Does it have to be vehicle specific or can I just run universal?
So some vehicles are going to be vehicle specific. And the reason for that is because there's different ways on how we can run the HKS blow off valve. There's 100% vent to atmosphere. There's 50-50, basically running it through the blow off valve. And then we have 100% recirculation. Basically, all of that boost pressure goes back into the intake, back into the turbo, and it just completely recirculates into the system.
How do you install the HKS blow off valve?
Some applications are going to be bolt-on, some applications are going to be weld-on. If you have a vehicle specific one, it's going to come with all of those pieces that are needed for that application.
I have the universal one. How would that work?
So again, vehicle specific, you just want to get the correct flanges that is required for your vehicle. You need to determine how you want to run it, if it's going to be that vent to atmosphere or 50-50. Some vehicles are a little bit more sensitive than others. Civic Type Rs, Evos, they run fully recirced from the factory, and that's what they require. And what it does is it changes the AFRs. When you run fully vent to atmosphere on these vehicles, they will run rich, and some vehicles do go into limp mode. So you just want to do the research of what your vehicle does require, and then make sure you grab the vehicle-specific HKS blow-off valve for your vehicle.
I'm just wondering, how much do they usually go for?
So these actually retail right around the $350 mark. Okay. Some of the different applications do have different price ranges. Universal is obviously going to be the cheapest option.
If I got the universal one, do I need custom pipings?
Well, just like we talked about, every vehicle is going to be different. So how are you setting up your vehicle?
For my FD specific, it was out of stock. I got the universal kit and I just welded onto the.
Well, that's absolutely perfect. Running with an FD, you can run fully vent to atmosphere with this. You're not going to have any issues. If you buy a universal and then you found out that you have to run fully recirculation, then you can buy those fins or the piping, the kits that they do supply, they already do all that for you.
Okay, so it's a lot easier.
It's a lot easier.
Okay, makes sense.
It's there, it's ready to go, you purchase it, that's what you're getting for your vehicle.
Now that you mentioned about fins, Can I adjust the sound?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So you can actually purchase the fins. Some of the kits do come with them. You can make it higher pitch, you can make it lower pitch. You can change the sound by even running the blow-off valve a different way. If you don't want to run 100% vent to atmosphere because maybe you don't want to have that Fast and the Furious style, you can actually run it 50-50, and that's a very conservative way to run like a turbocharged vehicle. If your vehicle is recirculation from the factory, again, you don't want to go the reverse way, but other vehicles can go the other way.
People ask if you can change the spring rate on the blow-off valve.
Can't really change the spring rate in a blow-off valve. There are some brands that do have that idea though. Tile is another blow-off valve brand, and it has a actual dial on the top. You can tighten it to actually change the sound of that blow-off valve.
I have a question. I know there's different brands for blow-off valves, and some of those are adjustable. With an HKS blow-off valve, can you actually change out the springs?
No, you cannot change out the springs. What we can do is we can change out the fins in the blow-off valve to actually change that noise, which we talked about a little bit earlier. But you can also change the noise by going with a fully vent to atmosphere. You can go 50-50. You can go fully recirc on this.
I have another question.
Yes.
Does it add horsepower?
It does not add horsepower. It allows you to keep that horsepower into your motor.
I have one more question.
What's up?
Is it billet?
I have more questions.
Yes.
How long does it last?
I would say it would last forever. I mean, I have my personal one. I've used it for 7 years. Big turbo, never had an issue.
Okay, so it's worth the cost?
Quality product, absolutely. You're spending tons of money on your build. I mean, some people are spending paycheck to paycheck on their builds. If you go with a quality product, you're not gonna have any issues.
There's a lot of fake ones around. How can you tell?
So with the fake ones, you just have to be really careful. You wanna buy from an HKS certified dealer. Vivid Racing is one of those HKS certified dealers. There's a hologram on the back of it. It's certified HKS right on there.
So we are HKS authorized, authorized,
Author.
So we're HKS dealers. Do we get direct support from HKS?
Absolutely. We get actual special handling so that we can get these products very quickly from Japan to the United States.
It's going to be air-shipped from Japan?
Air-shipped.
If the products are in stock in Japan?
In stock in Japan, and it has to be below 10 kilograms.
So it's about like 4 or 5 pounds. You can do the math, all right? A lot of people asked if we can make a blow-off valve, HKS blow-off valve, flutter.
So the technical answer is no, it just won't flutter by itself. But in my experience with my Mazda Speed 3, I have noticed that it does flutter under partial throttle because that spring in that blow-off valve is not strong enough to actually open up with, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 pounds of boost.
How can you tell if a blow-off valve is bad?
If a blow-off valve is bad, you will notice that your AFRs might be not reading correctly, could run a little rich, could run a little lean, could have a lower boost target than what you are supposed to be targeting from your tuner. When that does happen, sometimes you just want to remove it, check everything, install it back, see if that had fixed things. These typically don't go bad at all. Like I said, I had mine for about 7 years now, running about 24 pounds of boost, no issues at all.
So why would you choose the HKS one over the other brands?
Honestly, I'd probably choose the HKS because you get that unique JDM sound, Fast and the Furious, famous.
Really high pitch.
Right. You know that is an HKS blow off valve when you hear a car going down the street.
Not gonna lie, I had the fake one before on the FD and I thought it sounded really cool, but then I got the real one later on and I was like, oh wow, there's a huge difference.
Right, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So once you get it, now you know.
I'm not going back to the fake one.
No way.
No
way.
So why would you go for the real ones versus the knockoff version?
So me personally, I'd probably go with a real one. Yes, it's going to be a little bit more money, but you get that safe, secure security for your motor.
Okay.
You put a lot of time into your build. People, car enthusiasts, they spend a lot of their times on their build. They love them, everything like that. You just want to make sure that it's safe, it's reliable, working properly.
What happens if your knockoff blow off valve fails?
The vehicle's not going to be running properly. It might be a little bit hesitant, sluggish, maybe jittery in some applications, especially on throttle. You could run into the spring not opening completely, and that all that air that needs to be closed off and evacuated, it's actually going to go back into the turbo, and that's not great. I mean, you're spending a lot of money on turbos, so you don't want that
turbo to spool backwards.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's because it's going to shudder.
Well, thank you so much for coming, Travis, today.
Absolutely.
I think we all learned about HKS blow off valve and, blow off valve in general. I hope you guys learned a lot today.
I know I sure did. And if you have any questions, go ahead, leave a comment or email sales@vividracing.com. Be sure to follow Travis, Yori, and me on Instagram, and also follow @VividRacing on all social platforms.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!